All right, I guess we'll go ahead and get started since Pat is first on the agenda and he just joined. We'll go ahead and get started with the Finance Subcommittee meeting on September 13, 2021 at 5:30 p.m. So we'll go ahead and get started. I'd like to thank Council President Marcus Williams for joining us, Councilor Jesse Letterman for joining us, and all of you. Thank you very much. So we'll get started with the first item on the agenda, the July revenue versus expenditure report.
Thank you. Just have two things I really want to mention on this report. It's the first month of the fiscal year, so really there isn't a lot happening, but there were one major payment was made, and that's the pension appropriation payment that was made on July 1st. And that was 75.3 million, of which 52.2 was the city side and 23.1 was the school side. Also, the net school spending amount, I'm sorry, I should have footnoted this a little better. That's a partial amount. So I'm working with the school department now to finalize that number. I'm projecting it's going to be approximately 15.6 million, which is about $800,000 more than it was last year. But I'm waiting for school to confirm my numbers and they're reviewing them now. So hopefully I'll have that in the next week or so.
Thank you, Pat. Do you have the free cash number for this past fiscal year?
Not yet. What happens is all of our grant deficits, we have until the end of September for those funds to come in the door. So we can't submit for the free cash certification until the beginning of October. And then it usually takes a month or so for them to go through all of our transactions and to make sure that everything's included in there. So I'm hoping to have that by the end of November, end of November, similar to last year.
So the last time we spoke, it was around, there was going to be free cash of around 15 million from the school transportation budget.
Yes, and it's actually going to be higher than that from what I'm projecting. It's going to be north of 20 million. So with some of the other departmental turnbacks and surpluses on the revenue side. So hopefully I can give an unaudited June report in October. Our audit's going on right now. Actually, they just started today with their field work. So I'll see what they come up with, and hopefully I'll be comfortable enough to give a report in October, the first meeting in October.
Okay, Pat, thank you. I want to welcome Councilors Davila, Allen, and Hurst. They just joined the meeting. Any questions for Pat? All right, next item on the agenda is the Parks Municipal Vulnerability Preparedness. I'm sorry, it just went away on my screen. So it's that next item.
Great. Patrick Sullivan here from the Park Department. We're very proud to receive this MVP grant, working with the Finance Department and our City Forester, Alex Sherman. The title of the grant was Trees, Homes, People, Creating a More Resilient Living Environment. And roughly 1.9 million will be to construct a resilient forestry operations center. Currently, they operate mainly out of the old Monkey House in Forest Park. This new operations center will be located in the tree nursery. And this is the second phase of a prior MVP grant. We had gotten a grant 2 years ago to expand our tree nursery. And trees will be a very critical component as we get ready for the challenge of climate change to keep our city cooler, slow rainwater down. And so we're very proud to be really, I think, the first one in the Commonwealth to receive a grant for a forestry operations center. The other part of the grant will include $100,000, and Tina Quagliato and Tim Sheehan deserve the credit for that portion of the grant. They are going to be doing community outreach through neighborhood councils to increase civic engagement and build social and economic resilience in environmental justice communities across the city. So it's really got a broad reach to the overall grant, and we're proud to have teamed up with them to have included them in our grant.
Thank you, Pat. The total amount of the grant is $2 million, and it says match required. Do we know where that match is coming from?
It's from the city. I'll have Lindsay answer that portion, but it's matched by the city of Springfield.
Do we know what bucket of money that the match is coming from, Lindsay?
That's going to be an upcoming bond order.
A bond order? Okay.
We couldn't get it on this week's agenda because we didn't have time to advertise for the bond.
Okay.
Usually we would do it together, but we didn't have time this week.
Okay, thank you, Lindsay. Any questions from counselors? All right. The American Rescue. Thank you, Pat. The American Rescue Plan Act funding, $29,836,165. County reallocation.
So we've talked about this before. We had been waiting for the county reallocation of the ARPA funding, and this is our allocation for that.
Yeah. Any questions on that? Does it have the same criteria as the other ARPA fund?
Yes, same exact.
Same exact, okay. Thank you. Lindsay, police CIT Hope Grant, 100,000, no match required.
Good evening, Brian Elliott from the Police Department. How are you all?
Hey, Brian, how are you?
Good. This is continuation funding. It required a statement of work, and the DMH has funded us to just keep going with what we've been doing. They're very happy with it. And so we will continue to train our officers and have a targeted crisis intervention team that goes out to do crisis work in all facets. I could tell you that it's been very, very busy. We just had a young man from Long Meadow come to Springfield and commit suicide Friday. So it's coming to us in all fashions and forms, and this money is critical that we can get out there and get ahead of some of this.
Yeah, that's horrible news, but thanks for the work you're doing, Sergeant Elliott. Any questions?
Yeah, Brian, could you talk about, I'm sorry, this is Tim Allen. Could you talk about the connection of this grant money to the incident you just reported about?
Well, it's just part of the overall team. This all started in Long Meadow. They were pinging this kid's phone, and Long Meadow couldn't get ahead of it in time to get it to us to prevent the tragedy. We tracked, but we just couldn't get there in time, and he made his way to the 8th story of the parking garage, and with little or no delay, he threw himself off. You know, and having teams and officers in place, we've been able to get ahead of quite a bit of it. Unfortunately, this last Friday, we just couldn't.
Sorry. All right. I just have to ask, is anybody having trouble opening the agenda on the city website?
Yeah, I've been having problems with the city website all day. So,
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to open the agenda for this meeting and for this meeting anyway.
yeah, it took me a long time to get mine open, and then it just did something funky, so I'm not sure.
Just
Yeah,
open
Drew,
mine.
chair.
I just opened mine without any problems.
You didn't have any problems, Victor?
No.
Sorry, say, hey, through the chair, I'm sorry, Councilor Whitfield, I just wanted to make a mention. I made IT aware of the issue, so they are trying to work on it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The EOHHS Youth Homeless Grant increase, $446,089, no match.
Yes, hi, Jerry McCafferty, Office of Housing. This is a grant from the state of Massachusetts, Executive Office of Health and Human Services. It's a continuation grant from prior years. It funds youth homeless services. It is a pass-through for the city. The actual agencies that carry out the work are Gondara and the Center for Human Development. They do outreach, emergency shelter, and other assistance to young adults 18 to 24 who are experiencing homelessness. So this was a multi-year grant. They added our amount for this current fiscal year, although there's been a change since we submitted this to City Council. The amount we were awarded for this year was $446,089.10. Since that time, just last week, they amended it to give us another $190,500. So the total amount is now $636,589. And I'm not sure, I think I need to make a motion for this. I guess this is when it's before the council later. I need to make a motion to change the amount of the grant, but I guess letting you know here now.
Okay, we will make the motion to amend it at the appropriate time during the council meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Can I ask you one question about this grant? So it's a youth homelessness grant for 18 to 24. Does that include like young people that have children? Could they also utilize these funds or?
So the original purpose of the grant was really directed to youth without children, but we have a hotline and they get a lot of calls from people with children. So some of this includes flexible funds to help people try to resolve their homelessness. So yes, it is serving that population as well. Often with that population, they're making connections to get people into the state shelter system, which are apartment shelter units, but they are definitely getting those calls and doing that work.
Thank you, because I was trying to help someone before and I had called Gandara and they said it was for youth that didn't have children at the time. So yeah. All right, that's why I asked. But
I will check in with them because they're telling me that they're also taking those calls. I'll make
okay.
sure.
All righty. Thank you. Where are we? The FY22 Senior Community Service Employment Grant, in-kind match required, $523,879.
Yeah, I don't know if Sandy Federico is here. I don't see her name, so I'll speak to it. This is our senior aid program. Many of you know we have a senior aid program where we employ seniors over the age of 55 for 2 years, and our goal is really to find them permanent jobs. But this is the annual allocation from the federal government.
Any questions?
No questions.
Thank you, Commissioner. Library next to 7 and 8 are, one is a cash donation for $52 and the other one is a donation of goods from the Massachusetts Board of Library Commission for hotspots donation. You're muted, Molly.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
The cash donation is from an individual. Sometimes we just receive a check. Someone got really good service and they want to send us a check. So that goes into our donation account and we use it for books and other related programs at the library. The donation of goods is funded. It's actually from the Mass Board of Library Commissioners. And it's funded with ARPA funding that came to the Institute of Museum and Library Services, which then allocated money to all state agency. Each state and the United States has a state agency for public libraries. And so they did a lot of, focus groups, what do we need? And a lot of what people really found a real problem in the whole digital divide issue during the time that libraries were closed is access to the internet, because they couldn't get into library buildings to use our computers. So this is basically sort of the tagline is borrow the internet. We have 200 T-Mobile hotspots that we've received from the Mass Board of Library Commissioners. They are paying all the data costs for a year, and the value of that is about $97,500. The devices are being prepared now for circulation. We're rolling them out. Any member of the public can borrow them. They have to be 18 and over to take them home. They can keep them for a couple of weeks. I think it's 2 weeks. And then return them, and certainly can borrow them again if they're still available. We're really excited about this. It was a real problem for people, and they can now use them to hop on the wireless, the T-Mobile wireless. So we're really excited that we have these, and they'll be available to the public. The funding ends on September 30th, 2020. So at that point, if we will have circulation data to say how many went out, how popular they are. And then certainly for the fiscal 23 budget, we'll be requesting funding to pay the data costs. So.
That's fantastic. Will they be at every library?
Yes, all 9 locations, yes.
Okay, that's fantastic.
And the issue with them is they have to be picked up at the library and brought back, just because we don't want them damaged as we're sending things throughout the library system. There's, if for some reason someone loses it or doesn't return it, they don't have to recover the cost of it, but we will be able to remotely turn off the data. So it's really no good without that. So.
All right. That's a great program.
It works.
Any questions from counselors? All right. Thank you, Molly. FY22 Public Safety Answering Point Leadership Scholarship, $10,000, no match.
Thank you. So I'll speak to this one. This is for the Dispatch Department, Emergency Communications. And this is a PSAP Leadership Scholarship Grant. And this allows the Deputy Dispatch Director to go to a specific training. That this grant covers that for her.
Okay. Any questions? All right, thank you, Lindsay.
Just a quick question, if you may.
Yeah, sure. If you guys can use your hand thing so I can see people, because I don't know who's asking. Thank you, Councilor Davila.
Thank you. Lindsay, you say one training only, $10,000?
Correct. It's for one person to attend the training.
Can you tell us a little bit about the training for $10,000?
It's the first time we received this scholarship, and it is an advanced communications manager course. I assume it's a lengthy course. I'm not sure how long. It starts on September 13th. And it does cover the cost for one person, the deputy, to attend. It sends one representative from each PSAP. So it only covers one person. That's going to be the deputy.
Sounds like a very expensive workshop.
Probably.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Where are we at? Order approving a contract over 3 years for the lease purchase finance of a Pierce Enforcer 1500 GPM 750-gallon water pump apparatus for the Springfield Fire Department.
So this is, I'll speak to this one as well. I do believe Commissioner Calvi is going to be here tonight. This is for the lease of a new fire apparatus. We're requesting authorization to go out for a contract beyond 3 years. We're looking to lease the apparatus over 5 years. So that's why we're coming to City Council for this one.
All righty, thank you. Any questions? All right, bond authorization for MSBA ARP project, $6,275,387.
Okay, I'll speak to this one as well. I think Pat hopped off. Yeah, I don't see it. So this is a bond order for the replacement of doors and windows at SciTech. The city is expected, obviously the MSBA's reimbursement amount is 80% up to a certain construction cap. The total cost for the project is estimated to be at 6.2 million. Obviously, we need to bond for the entire amount, and then we expect to be reimbursed for 70 to 80% of the project.
Thank you, Lindsay. Any questions?
I'm trying to,
I see you, Councilor Davila. Go
I'm
ahead.
trying to get to the hand quickly. here. Lindsay, quick question, just to be clear, it says ARP project, is that with the American Recovery Plan? Or
No.
is it something different?
Yeah, this is the MSBA's accelerated repair program.
Got it, okay. Just keeping my,
ARP, I didn't even think that that's the same.
yeah. Well, speaking on the news lately.
Just in the
so,
A.
vaguely familiar, all right, thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Where are we? COVID-19 case investigation and contract tracing, no match required, $600,000.
Good afternoon, councilors. As you know, COVID-19 cases are increasing across the nation and certainly in the city of Springfield. This money is so that we can hire in investigators or the contact tracers. And also we will be bringing on an epidemiologist who will be able to concretely mine our data in a way that we can report back to the neighborhoods. And so that's what this case investigation grant is designed to do.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let's see. FY22 Mass Board of Library Commissioners Grant, no match required, $50,000. ARPA outreach van.
Yes, hi, good evening again. This is funding, again, from the same ARPA funding that the Mass Board of Library Commissioners received, and we will getting $50,000, which we are using to purchase a van that we'll use for outreach activities. The van will be outfitted with shelving and a ramp so we can take book trucks off of it. It will have wireless access so we can go out on the road, go to parks. We do a lot of outreach in the parks with the schools, with the housing authority. So this will be branded and we'll be driving around the city, and we're very excited to actually have the funding to do that. It's something we wanted to do it for a long time.
That's fantastic. Any questions? Will you be doing like community events as well?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's gonna be fun.
And you don't need to, so anyone can drive it. We're excited.
Can we have a puppet show or something?
Just ask us. We'll do it.
Okay, thank you. Health and Human Services, health services for the homeless grant increase, $69,543.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is as you know, we get a federal grant from HRSA to do work with the homeless individuals. This is an increase to that grant. It is for case management, mental health services, to increase our capacity with that population that we serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? We are so familiar with that grant. And finally, the Springfield City Library donation of $150.
This is from Anoni Burak, and she donates funding every year in memory of her mother, and we purchase books and put book plates in them. So we're very happy to get those donations.
Very nice. Okay, so is there anyone to make a motion that we accept the finance report as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Yes, I agree with it. So it has been accepted, and I will see you guys at 7.
Very well.
Excellent. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Meeting adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.